Hello, and welcome back to another episode of the Rico Suave League Fantasy Football Podcast. I'm your host, Tommy, and
We're still doing this shit.
Jesus still going. That's it.
I'm Dan. I had another depressing fantasy football week. Let's get into the swing of things. Fans, friends, and fellow fantasy footballers.
Yeah, so let's just jump right into it. We're going to start off with scores from this week.
Yeah, is that my job or is that your job?
I'll pull it up for you if you don't mind.
Alright, legend.
Alright, so we're going to start off with the Mixing It Up team versus Starchy Chargy.
Absolutely.
That was a brutal score of 138.4 to 92.5. Another victory for Mixing It Up after a down week last week. Really rebounded. Things still looking up for that team.
Yeah, way to go. I wonder what it's like to win. Must be nice.
Yeah, me too. Next, we have one of the brotherly matchups that we mentioned. That was between Pooper Hoopers, parentheses, and Fournette, parentheses, and the team of injury. And Pooper Hoopers actually pulling out the win in that one.
Yeah. Thanks, man.
No problem.
Yeah, way to go to Pooper Hoopers. We doubted you. Congratulations.
Yeah, it was 141.6 to 122.1 that game.
Must be nice to win.
Yeah. Then our next brotherly matchup.
Okay, and then the next matchup we have Brady's Bunch and Peepus Room.
That's not the one that I was actually looking at. I was looking at.
That one doesn't count. Brady's Bunch and Peepus Room is a score of 125.3
No, I was at
to
actually
116.3.
Team Le'Veon Bell is a crybaby versus Cheese Dip Mouse
Brady's
Awakes. That was a crushing defeat. 120.6 to 71.4. Any comments about that?
No comment.
No comment. All right. Originally, Cheese Dip Mouse Wakes didn't have a set lineup until persuaded heavily by GM of the Alvin Kamara's.
Yeah, his response to
Yeah,
to setting it was actually a picture of Chris Pratt.
yeah, the GM of the Alvin Kamara's came on to him and said, please set your lineup for this week against your brother. And the response they got back was a resounding picture of Chris Pratt.
Yeah, you know, sad to think that Chris Pratt has this much influence in the league, but he's taking over.
Yeah, really.
Yeah,
and with that persuasion, he actually beats his older brother by points. But we're not going to dwell on that for any longer. Then we have Brady's Bunch versus Peepus Room. Very close fought battle. Came down to the Monday night game. Ultimately, Brady's Bunch over Peepus Room, 125.3 to 116.3.
You know, his name is Brady's Bunch for a reason because Brady's out here giving his team dubs.
Yeah, Brady really pulling through there.
Must be nice.
And then we have the RSL game of the week. Another nail biter that came down to Monday Night Football.
So one of the few actual RSL game of the weeks that comes down to a nail biter.
Yeah, really. Proud to be a part of it. But this week it was the Taiwanese Dingleberries over the Alvin Kamaras. The Alvin Kamaras went into Monday night with a 3-point lead over the Dingleberries. But Steven Goskowski really pulling through there, scoring 13 points. Crushing loss for the Kamaras. Could be the end of their postseason run.
This is why you got to listen to people like Will Dudas who pick kickers really early.
Yeah.
They're the difference makers here. They're putting up more points than people like Le'Veon Bell right now. So.
Yeah, really. And then I think we're going to jump into our accolades for the week, which we're going to start off with the player of the week, and that honor goes to James Conner, I believe. His second or third player of the week honor.
Must be nice.
Yeah, it's very nice to have a player of the week on your team. Multiple weeks. Then we have the most valuable player of the week.
Wait, we ain't touching how many points yet. It was 38.
38.2. Over half the points that Team Le'Veon Bell's crybaby amounted this week. Then we have the most valuable player of the week, the aforementioned Stephen Gostkowski really pulling through there, and the Dingleberries
Mucho
a win.
job. Mucho.
13 points, like we said. Impressive outing by him.
That's why kickers are the best.
Then we have the least valuable player of the week. This is the player who either cost their team the win or just did unexpectedly bad. And that goes to Darcy Chargie's own David Njoku, who, while still being on the field, managed to score 0 points.
It's almost as bad as LaShawn McCoy did last week after he got injured and cost me the game. Whatever.
Yeah. Except we're not talking about your team or last week. We're talking about this week.
Oh, and now we have the worst managerial decision.
Worst managerial decision. We're actually going to chalk that one up. A little throwback here.
Yeah, to Matt.
Yeah, it's still going to be Matt. Didn't do anything bad this week, but a couple weeks ago he played Jared Cook at his flex. For those of you who don't know, Jared Cook is a tight end. And never play tight end in your flex.
Well, you got it. You got worst managerial decision the
Yeah.
second time for that. You should be ashamed.
It will continue to be the worst managerial decision of the week until someone makes another mistake like that.
Mm-hmm. Way to go.
Yeah, way to go, Matt. At least you win something.
Yeah, you got on the board for something.
Yeah.
Anyway, news for this week.
Lots of news, lots of trades. Trade deadline happening soon.
Golden Tate.
Golden Tate to the Philadelphia Eagles.
As if having one bye week on my team wasn't enough, he gets a second now because I don't have enough players who aren't playing already.
Yeah. Really rough spot for the teams here. We also have this one's hitting hard. We have Demarius Thomas being traded to the Houston Texans. Fan favorite of one of our GMs. GM of Cheese Dip Mousewicks, loves the Broncos, loves Demarius Thomas.
He has the jersey and everything.
Yeah, sad to see him go to another team.
Yeah, it's a classic thing to happen to the GM of Cheese Dip Mousewicks. Whenever he gets a jersey of a player, they seem to get traded. So stop buying jerseys.
Or keep buying them.
If you don't want that. You know what? He's in a better place now.
Yeah. And an interesting note about that trade is, he was originally slated this week to play for Denver against Houston, but now is scheduled to play for Houston against Denver.
That's kind of like the thing where a square is a rectangle, but a rectangle is not a square.
Yeah, sure. Ladies and gentlemen, you heard it here first. Demarius Thomas is in fact a rectangle.
No, he's a square.
Square, whatever, same thing, kind of, unless they're reversed, maybe.
Yep, absolutely.
So now we're going to go into the next week's matchups. This will be week 9 of fantasy football.
Oh, good. I play mixing it up.
Yeah. Team Le'Veon Bell's Crybaby versus Mixing It Up.
There's another dub for mixing it up.
Yeah, I'm going to have to chalk that one up to Mixing It Up right there.
This just in. GM of Le'Veon Bell as a Crybaby is listening to trade offers for every player in his team because he has no emotional attachment to any of them.
I don't know if you're going to get many offers.
Including Golden Tate.
Then we're going to hop right into the team of injury versus the Alvin Kamaras. That one I'm going to have to slate up to the Alvin Kamaras.
I'm giving it to the team of injury. I'm rooting for the underdog.
Okay. Then we have Brady's Bunch. Versus Pooper Hoopers, parentheses, and Fournette, parentheses. That one, going to be interesting. I think I have to root for Pooper Hoopers there on that one.
I got Brady's Bunch.
I don't know who I want. You know what?
Let's call it a tie.
I'm gonna go Brady's Bunch.
Let's call it a tie.
Okay, let's call it a tie for some reason.
I think it's got $20 on it being a tie.
$20. We're not making bets. If you guys want to make bets, send us money and we'll consider it.
I have a player statement this week. I forgot about. We'll do this after. You can continue.
Maybe if you weren't so depressed, you would have remembered. Then we have the Taiwanese Dingleberries versus Cheese Dip Mousewakes. That one, pretty easy. You're going to have to go for Taiwanese Dingleberries there. Really gave me a handling this week.
I got Cheese Dip Mousewakes. I got the underdog.
And You have Darcy Chargy versus Peepus Room. That one I'm gonna have to chalk up to Peepus Room.
I'm also gonna just chalk that one to Peepus Room.
Yeah, really.
Yeah.
So what's our pick for RSL game of the week? What do you
I'm giving that to. I don't even know. Scroll down. Who's playing? I wasn't listening. I got Brady's Punch versus Booper.
Yeah, I'd say that's a fair RSL game of the week right
that
there.
seems like a good one.
That's gonna be a close matchup, fun to watch for the family. And then our RSL not game of the week. I'm gonna have to chalk that
No,
one.
I want Taiwanese Dingleberries versus Cheese and Mouse Wigs for that one.
Yeah.
That's gonna be a funny matchup.
That's gonna be fun. Yeah.
Anyway, I have one player statement this week because no one else wrote in. I shouldn't have to remind you for this shit.
Yeah, really not that hard.
But thank you to GM of the Taiwanese Dingleberries, Jonathan Larson, with his Week 8 report. I'll keep it short and sweet this time since you don't read the whole thing anyway. Thank you for realizing that. And I'll make sure to proofread before sending. Thank you for that too. I'm glad that the Bears were able to pull this win off. Gostkowski really pulled through for the team. Not gonna lie, the Alvin Kamara's played great. Good and exciting game. Next victim, Cheese Dip Mouse Awakens. I think it's Awakes, not Awakens.
Yeah, it's definitely Awakes.
Should have proofread even more. We did lose to them earlier in the season. We'll make sure to seal this win. They'll win this weekend. I can't read. Go Berries.
Go Berries.
And that's been it. I think. Do you have anything else to say?
One thing I do want to talk about is we're getting into the home stretch for this fantasy season.
Oh, that's right.
And
That's important.
the postseason race is currently going on. The 4 seed is currently up for grabs between a bunch of different teams. Currently, it's held by Darcy Chargy somehow. But actually, I'm incorrect. It's currently held by Pooper Hoopers parentheses and Fournette parentheses. Um, and then Darcy
Good to see that.
Darcy Chargy, not far behind, tied for record, but pretty far behind in points actually. And then behind them would be Brady's Bunch, who is 3-5, and I think ahead in points right now. And then of course the Alvin Kamaras, who are ahead in points but behind 2 games in record. So that's going to be a lot of stuff happening for the next few weeks. A lot of drama, a lot of rooting against people you didn't want to root against.
Yeah, it's gonna be a fun race to watch from the sidelines. I think that's been it for Rico Suave League.
Yeah.
Episode something, week something. I've been your host, Daniel.
And I'm Tommy.
Signing off. Oh, wait, one more thing. This episode is in loving memory of my fish, Adolf.